sometimes the simplest sketches contain the most powerful solutions. My name is Lucas Martinez-Wei, and this is the story of how my childish doodles transformed global energy. But to understand how we got here, we need to start in a small apartment in Phoenix, Arizona, where a young architect saw possibility in the desert sun. Growing up in a family of traditional engineers, I was always the dreamer. My father designed nuclear power plants, my mother specialized in oil refinery efficiency, and my sister Angela was making waves in natural gas infrastructure. Then there was me, covering my walls with sketches of solar collection systems inspired by desert plants and insects. "Mijo," my father would sigh, looking at my latest designs, "you could be working on real energy solutions instead of drawing pictures." What they didn't understand was that I wasn't just drawing, I was innovating. Every sketch was an exploration, every design a step toward what would later become the BioSolar network. The tension peaked during my final year at Arizona State University. While my classmates were accepting jobs at prestigious engineering firms, I announced my decision to combine architectural design with biomimicry research. "Solar sketches won't power cities," my father said dismissively. "You're throwing away your engineering background." I met his gaze and replied, "Dad, nature solved the energy crisis millions of years ago. We just haven't been paying attention." At the Biomimicry Institute, I finally found my intellectual home. My mentors saw something unique in my approach to solar design. While others focused on traditional panel configurations, I was studying how desert organisms maximized energy collection and storage. The breakthrough came during a research trip to the Sonoran Desert. I had been analyzing how various cacti and desert insects managed heat and energy, but I realized we were approaching solar power all wrong. We weren't just dealing with energy collection, we were dealing with an entire ecosystem of energy management. Late one night, surrounded by sketches and biological data, I had my epiphany. Traditional solar installations fought against natural conditions, but what if we could design systems that worked with nature's own solutions? I developed a revolutionary approach that combined biomimetic design with advanced materials science. My system, which I called BioSolar, used structures inspired by desert life to create solar collection networks that could adapt to environmental conditions just like living organisms. My designs caught the attention of Dr. Sarah Chin, a pioneer in sustainable energy at MIT. She offered me a position in her research team, along with resources to develop my concepts further. My family's reaction was predictable. "Solar research?" my sister scoffed. "I just secured a billion-dollar pipeline contract." But I had stopped seeking their approval. 2 months after graduation, I was building our first prototype in the Mojave Desert, my heart racing with possibility. The initial results exceeded everyone's expectations. Our test facility produced 300% more energy than traditional solar installations of the same size. But what really set BioSolar apart was its resilience. The system could maintain peak efficiency even in extreme conditions that would cripple conventional solar farms. Dr. Chin was ecstatic. "Lucas, this isn't just solar power, it's the next evolution of energy." Word spread quickly in the renewable energy sector. Government agencies began requesting proposals, and research institutions worldwide wanted to implement our design. But it wasn't until the global energy crisis of 2024 that our work caught international attention. The crisis had disrupted traditional power supplies, leaving millions without reliable electricity. While conventional power systems struggled, BioSolar installations maintained steady output. Our adaptive networks proved remarkably effective at providing stable power even when other systems failed. The International Energy Agency took notice. Suddenly, I was being invited to speak at global conferences, consulted by energy ministries, and featured in engineering journals. BioSolar was being implemented across major deserts worldwide, and similar projects were starting in developing nations. Yet my family remained skeptical. "Solar drawings won't solve the energy crisis," my father said during one of our rare family dinners. "You could be designing nuclear plants by now." I didn't bother arguing. The results spoke for themselves. By 2025, BioSolar networks were providing clean power to over 100 million people across 3 continents. Our performance data was undeniable. Biomimetic solar design wasn't just alternative energy. It was the future of power generation. Which brings us to today, standing at this International Energy Conference, facing a room full of power industry leaders, scientists, And yes, my family finally here to witness what their doodler had become. My father's dismissive comment still hung in the air. Lucas is drawing sun catchers. But as I looked out at the sea of faces at the screens showing real-time power generation data from our installations worldwide, I felt only certainty. The cameras flashed as I began to speak. 20 years ago, a young architect believed that nature held the key to our energy future. Today I'm here to tell you that he was right. Deserts aren't just empty spaces, they're living laboratories of energy efficiency. And we now have the technology to learn from their lessons. I clicked to the first slide showing the biological inspiration behind our designs. When traditional solar technology couldn't meet global energy demands, we had to think differently. We stopped fighting nature and started learning from it. For the next hour, I explained the science behind BioSolar, the biomimetic design principles, the adaptive materials, the way we created power networks that could respond to environmental conditions just like living organisms. But more importantly, I shared our vision. We can transform global energy, I declared. Not by imposing our designs on nature, but by adapting nature's own solutions. The answer wasn't in bigger panels or more efficient cells. It was in understanding and working with natural systems. The presentation ended with recent footage of our installations, vast networks of biomimetic collectors stretching across deserts, providing clean power to cities and villages alike. The applause was thunderous. Later at the reception, my family approached. My mother's eyes were wet with tears. "Lucas," she said softly, "we were wrong. So wrong." My father, ever the engineer, had questions about the technical specifications and efficiency calculations. Even Angela, the pipeline expert, was particularly interested in how we managed energy distribution through our adaptive networks. "You really did revolutionize energy," she admitted, hugging me tightly. "With drawings of all things." But the most meaningful moment came when a young engineering student approached me, carrying a sketchbook full of biomimetic designs. "Mr. Martinez-Wei," he said earnestly, "I want to follow your path. Everyone says drawing nature-inspired designs is wasteful, but..." I smiled, remembering my own journey. "Let me tell you a secret," I said. "Every breakthrough begins with someone seeing patterns others miss. Never let anyone tell you your approach is too unconventional or your ideas too simple." That evening, I stood on my hotel balcony watching the desert sunset. My phone was buzzing with messages, congratulations, partnership offers, interview requests. But my thoughts were in that small Phoenix apartment, where a young architect believed in the power of learning from nature. The next morning, I was back at our newest installation site. Because while awards and recognition are nice, the real reward is watching clean energy transform lives. Every megawatt generated, every community powered, every carbon emission avoided. These are the true measures of success. My team has grown now. Engineers and designers from around the world come to learn our methods, each bringing their own insights and innovations. We've expanded beyond desert installations, adapting our technology for different environments and climate conditions. The work isn't always easy. We face challenges from traditional energy interests, technical hurdles, and the complexity of scaling our systems. But every time I see data showing another community powered by clean solar energy, I know we're on the right path. Last week, I received a package from my parents. Inside was my first sketchbook, filled with early designs of bio-inspired solar collectors. They'd kept it all these years. Tucked inside was a note. "Dear Lucas, we kept this to remind us of how wrong we were. Your sun catchers weren't just drawings. They were innovation. They were vision. They were a new way of thinking about energy. We're sorry we didn't see it sooner. You didn't just create solar technology, you showed us a new way of working with nature. Love, Mom and Dad." I keep that sketchbook in our research center now, alongside our latest design software and performance data. It reminds me that great achievements often grow from simple observations, that innovation shouldn't be limited by conventional thinking, and that sometimes the most powerful solutions come from watching nature. As I write this, I'm preparing for another day of development. Our systems will evolve, efficiency will improve, and somewhere another community will switch on clean power for the first time. My father might still think I'm drawing sun catchers, but I know better. I'm harvesting light, one biomimetic design at a time. And to that young architect in Phoenix sketching solar designs and believing in nature's wisdom, You were right all along. Keep drawing, keep observing, keep believing. The world needs your kind of vision. Today when people ask me what I do, I don't say I'm an architect or an engineer or even a solar designer. I tell them I'm a nature translator. Because that's what my work is really about. Understanding nature's solutions and adapting them to meet human needs. Clean energy is spreading faster than anyone thought possible. Our technology has been implemented in over 40 countries. The International Energy Agency has set new standards for biomimetic design in renewable energy. And every day more people are beginning to understand what that young dreamer in Phoenix knew all along. That sometimes the best technology isn't invented, it's discovered in nature. My family now jokes that they should have taken my drawings more seriously years ago. But this was never about creating just another solar technology. It was about proving that unconventional approaches, when guided by nature's wisdom, can transform how we power our world. As I prepare for my next presentation at the Global Sustainability Summit, I think about all the other innovators out there. The ones being told their ideas are too different, their methods too simple. To them I say, hold on to your vision. Nurture it like a precious seed. Because you never know which simple sketch might grow into a solution that changes the world. The deserts are humming with clean energy, and somewhere in Phoenix, in another small apartment, new designs are taking shape. My nephew has started filling his own walls with biomimetic sketches, much to everyone's amusement. But this time no one's calling them childish. After all, they know better now. Sometimes the biggest revolutions start with the simplest drawings. And as for me, I'm still sketching sun catchers. And I wouldn't have it any other way. #Epilogue. 10 years have passed since that energy conference. The BioSolar project has exceeded our wildest expectations. Over 60% of the world's desert regions now host our biomimetic solar installations. Energy accessibility has improved dramatically, and communities report more reliable, sustainable power than they've seen in generations. My old apartment in Phoenix has been preserved as an innovation center, where engineering students come to learn about the foundations of biomimetic design and explore their own innovative approaches to renewable energy. My parents lead tours there now, proudly explaining how their son's sun catcher drawings revolutionized global energy production. The young engineer who approached me at the conference? He's now one of our leading designers, developing new applications of our technology for extreme environments. When I see him working on new designs, that same look of wonder in his eyes that I had at my age, I know our legacy is in good hands. Last month, I received the highest honor of my career. Not another engineering award or energy sector recognition, but a letter from a small desert community. It contained a pressed desert flower and these words. Mr. Martinez-Wei, you helped us remember what nature knew all along, that the sun's power is limitless if we learn to harness it wisely. This flower grows near our BioSolar installation, thriving in the shade of your biomimetic collectors. Keep it and remember that your work has created waves of change across the world. That flower now sits in a special place in our research center, alongside my first sketchbook. It reminds me that every great achievement starts with a simple observation, that nature's solutions are often more elegant than our most complex designs. To anyone reading this who's being told their ideas are too simple, their methods too unconventional, or their vision too idealistic, remember my story. Remember that innovation needs all kinds of thinkers, all kinds of observers, all kinds of dreamers. And sometimes, just sometimes, drawing sun catchers can power the world.